Good morning, it's Brendan from Technology for Hotels. Today I'm talking with Marcus Taylor, the General Manager of Sails Port Macquarie by Rydges, about a product called SABA. Marcus started using SABA in about April this year. Being a regional property, Marcus and Sails have been in the enviable position of having excellent occupancy over the last couple of weeks. But like all properties, he's had to adjust to a post-pandemic world. So welcome, Marcus. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Marcus, when you first reached out, if I recall correctly, your main aim was to digitise your compendiums. Would you agree that SABA allowed that and probably more?
That was definitely the main aim. Obviously, with COVID coming and the need to remove items like the compendium from the rooms, it was just going to stop the hundreds of thousands of calls. So we needed a solution. Having an app is something I've most probably looked at in the past, but obviously the COVID environment accelerated that decision. Implemented it, as you said, mostly with the compendium in mind. And then knowing there was a few other features that we could probably build on down the track. But yeah, that was the main one.
That's perfect. I've got one for you. I could do it, but I thought it'd be great to get you to describe SABA in your own words. How would you describe it to a colleague or a guest, for example?
I guess it's everyone's familiar with an app, so it's pretty much a web-based program that looks like an app. And it's a great tool for driving revenue and saving costs. I think it does both those things very well.
Perfect. Yeah, I love the point that it looks and behaves like an app, but it's one of these newfangled progressive web apps that you don't need to download. So it's a website. Fantastic. And the guest uses it obviously on their own device. So there's no capital outlay for the hotel. And from a cost point of view, it's just a software as a service. So it's quite a reasonable fee per room per month.
Yeah.
How are you letting guests know about SABA at the property, both like pre-arrival, once they arrive?
We are not currently doing pre-arrival. Early days, all we did was we had the QR code printed on the menus, and like most things now, the menus had to be single use, so they were just a single piece of paper with some basic information. The guest scanned the QR code, and then that opened up the world of the compendium information and everything else. We're reducing all that handing out of paper, and the key card now has the QR code on it. So on arrival, the introduction by the reception team is the usual things. This is where your room is, blah blah blah, whatever. But also just scan the QR code. You can order food. You can do minibar. You can check the compendium. Everything you need is literally through that. So it's quite an easy one.
Fantastic. Okay, that's awesome. And as I understand it, the traditional paper-based, leather-bound compendiums are being removed from the room.
Yes.
Do you ever see them, let's just say 18 months, 2 years from now, we have a cure for COVID. Do you see them going back into the room?
No chance. I've hated them for years. And this has given me the perfect excuse and ability to get rid of them. I think the biggest thing with compendiums, obviously, not that they're extremely costly if you do them properly. But I don't know how many times I've changed a compendium, and there's one sleeve that hasn't been replaced, or 2 months down the track, a guest orders a random meal that you don't make anymore, it's just an annoying thing. Whereas now, our compendium is all web-based, so you literally jump in and you can change it, and it's instantly changed across there's no wrong information anywhere. It's great.
That's perfect. That's perfect. You mentioned guests ordering something from a menu that no longer exists. I understand that room service dinners are, huge at the moment, and that's probably a combination of COVID, people choosing to dine in the room, but having the ability as well. So, are they your thoughts?
I think SABA's had a huge part to play in that. I don't want to give it all the credit because we've done some great things with the food and beverage.
No, I'm sure you have. I can see that you put a lot of effort into this.
But I think it's just made it really, really easy. Like I think I mentioned to you in the past, like a thing like it gives us a much bigger option, say in the beverage choices. We have one list available where it's just not practical. And obviously, if you run out of things, you just take it off. It takes 2 seconds and it's gone. So there's no, guests saying, "Oh, I really wanted that steak or whatever." They just don't see it if it's not available. So,
yeah, that's fantastic. And just recently, you introduced poolside ordering via SABA as well, and I understand that's gone really well for you.
I think of all the initiatives we've done with SABA, that's most probably been the best one for us. All we did was we just had QR codes on every single cabana and poolside table, etc. So literally, everyone's always got their phone, even around the pool. So they do a quick QR code scan and put in the table number, and the food gets delivered straight to them. So really, really easy. And I think because it is so easy, there's been a massive increase there. And it's been really exciting for us to have a family sitting around the pool, and all of a sudden you've got an order for $150 for a poolside order. Just, it's really, really good revenue. So it's been a real success for us. I think that the big thing as well for it has been, you don't have to service. Obviously, you still have to service around the pool, but it's not taking the orders, etc. Like literally, the orders come through, they get delivered while the staff are out there. They might take 1 or 2 more orders if they're there, but it's just driving that revenue because people are seeing food come out, and it's just so easy. Yeah.
Excellent. No, that's a good news story. And minibar on demand, you've taken the opportunity to remove the alcohol component of the minibar from the room and make it an on-demand service, and that's had some benefits, I think, as well, hasn't it?
100%. I think minibars are always fraught with date, stock, etc. Of course, there's an element of risk if you've got $200 worth of stock in there. So what we've done is we've just got, and again, it's also COVID driven. There's no items that are outside the actual mini bar, the mini bar fridge, sorry. So everything's in there, which is obviously safe. You're not getting much handling of the stock, but it's vastly reduced our need for holdings. So there's just a few smaller items. I think it's $20 or something now that we actually in the room, but it's also enabled us to increase our offering.
Yes.
So there's way more options. You can do buckets of beer or whatever random items that we decide to do. You can do specials through there. You can just put it on the top of it, so it's visible first. And the way we drive the minibar as well, we've just got a sticker on the minibar fridge with a QR code, and the guests literally just scan the code and order what they want. That's
fantastic. Yep. And as you said, much more variety. As a guest, I'm not limited to sort of a heavy beer or a light beer. I can choose, my preferred beer from the menu that's available on my phone. That's great. And another trend we've seen with COVID is, on-demand room servicing. So you're offering that as well via SABA.
Yes. I think obviously COVID driven as well, but it's just a nice little note that is printed and put on the bed. It literally just says, yeah, for our safety and yours, we will not enter your room unless requested. With the QR code, scan the QR code, and we will service your room. The guests have a choice of, yeah, just a full service, or we can just pop in quickly, change the bins, yeah, replenish the towels if they don't want too much of an interruption. And there's also an option on there if they've done room service just to remove their empty tray as well. So it's worked really, really well. Obviously, there's savings in wages there. Yeah, it's been really, really good. And obviously from a safety perspective as well, yeah, we're not entering rooms while guests are there.
Yep.
So for their safety and for the safety of the staff.
That's great. Looking at, I suppose, the guest benefits overall, there's obviously increased choice from a room service point of view, as you said, servicing. Are there any other benefits you believe that guests have experienced as a result?
I guess we haven't built on it massively, but we do have a fair amount of, you know, what to do in town. Yeah, like there's some great partners we have from tours and activities, and they obviously have a place up there as well, and they've actually noticed. Yeah, we can obviously pull the reports and see what guests have been looking at, and they certainly use it to look at, you know, a helicopter tour or go surfing or whatever's something they're interested in. So yeah, I think it's just opened up information to guests, and obviously, yeah, in the future we'll certainly be activating the chatbot as well.
Yep.
Which I think is going to free up the staff for all the basic questions. Yeah, you can look at a compendium, but it's easier usually just to pick up the phone and just say what time is it. Where the chatbot, yeah, you can just type that in and it'll tell you. So that's going to be a good addition in the future.
Fantastic, fantastic. From an ease of use point of view, I know we did the initial setup, but since then you've adjusted the system, added the poolside menu yourself. How easy was it to do that, and how important is it that you have that flexibility?
Oh, it's really easy. What you don't know, you can figure out, and it's all such an easy system, and it's all built together. So you can there's great tutorials, yeah, that are shared. So if you get stuck, you can go on YouTube, or whatever, and have a look at those. Obviously, the team at SABA are very responsive as well, so that's good. But I think it is very important that if I want to change something, I can do it immediately. Because, yeah, I can't wait for an IT person who's going to maybe take even if it's half an hour, sometimes it's too long. Yeah, yep. I need something changed now.
Yep.
Yeah, being able to drive that and literally change not only the information, but you can change the whole format of the whole look and feel of it pretty quickly, which is great.
That's fantastic. One last final question, Marcus. Who would you recommend SABA to, and why?
Obviously, hotels. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I just think it's just a great platform, and bang for your buck. Like, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing that competes with it, and that's why I'm happy to talk to you guys about it, because I just think it's one of the best things we've done, especially from a return on investment perspective. It's really a drop in the ocean. It's a great little product. I don't know, maybe other applications. I imagine restaurants could use it if they wanted to, having QR codes and ordering on tables. But it definitely seems to be aimed at hotels, resorts, that kind of market.
Fantastic. Marcus, thank you so much for your time. It's an absolute pleasure, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, Brandon. Cheers.